Okay, so today we're going to be talking about physical activity. I gave you all some handouts, and right off the bat, I would like for you to complete that self efficacy of exercise scale to the best of your ability, just so I can see how good you feel about your ability to exercise at the moment.
What do you consider exercise? Walking? Or
That is up to you.
okay.
Y'all done?
Yes.
You don't have to turn it in. You can keep it. Okay, so just hold on to that, and we'll come back to it at the end. So, for starters, kind of going off of what you said, what is physical activity? What is exercise? Typically, there is a distinction, and exercise is anything that you think of that's planned. There's usually some sort of routine involved for the purposes of improving your health or your well being. Physical activity is just anything in general that gets you moving, gets your heart rate increasing, gets you breathing a little harder, gets you working out. So that can include things like household chores, working out in the yard, those everyday things that you do that you wouldn't consider exercise. That's all included in physical activity. So what keeps you from exercising or being active? What are some barriers that you can think of?
Probably
Or that you face.
busyness or the other activities.
Okay.
And getting tired in doing them before I get time to do that.
So I've got some here on my board, and they include nobody being at home to watch the children, or if you live with elderly parents and you don't want to leave them alone, maybe you would think that you couldn't exercise, or you don't have anywhere that you feel like you can go to exercise because it's not safe, or it's too expensive, or like you said, you just don't feel like you have the time to fit it in. You're too tired. You haven't found anything that you really like to do, because you think of exercising, you think of lifting weights or running, and maybe those aren't things that interest you. So you find it boring, or you see people doing these like crazy workouts in YouTube and you think that there's no way that you can do that, and so you're like, why do I even want to try? Or again, like you said, you just want to do something else. You like watching TV or something, and so you just want to do that. So that is the mindset that I want to change today. Because we've all heard that exercise is good for you, being active is good for you. Well, what exactly does it do for you? Here's a list of some of the things. One that I figure we've all heard quite a bit about is the physical health of it, that it lowers your risk for chronic illnesses. It actually lowers the risk of dying from chronic conditions by 20 to 30% of just being active and getting 30 minutes 5 times a week of moderate exercise, which is just breathing just a little harder than normal walking around. Some other things it does is it boosts your energy level, reduces stress, helps with anxiety and depression, helps you sleep better. It can improve your sex life by giving you the energy and the confidence to be with your spouse. And it's just a way to have fun and hang out with other people who like doing the same thing that you do. So if you're not used to being active, it can feel like a really daunting task. So how do you go about working that into your routine? Well, to start with, you have to shape it into something that you want to do. More than likely, it's not going to be the end that you're shooting for. Most of us don't want to be bodybuilders or something where that's our end goal, is going to the gym, working out, where we can bench press 100 pounds or whatever. We have other priorities in mind, like our family or work or whatever it may be. And believe it or not, exercise can be a means to do better in those places. Because like I said, something that isn't talked about as much is the fact that it can give you more energy, make you feel better, make you more productive in those areas of your life. So you have to shape looking at exercise in that way for starters. And if you have children or coworkers that who look up to you in whatever sense that may be, you can think of it as being a role model. You want your children to be healthy and not grow up having obesity issues, health issues. So if they look up to you, they see you exercising, that's a great way for them to get in that habit as well. So one thing that we all need if we're starting this plan is a support system. So you need to find friends, family, someone that you can go to if you're having hardships in fitting this into your routine, or finding the motivation to get up an extra 30 minutes early in the morning, or whatever it may be. Someone to communicate with, help you out. If you're wanting to exercise in the morning, but you're usually the one to make breakfast for the kids, maybe you can talk to your spouse, and maybe a couple days a week they can make breakfast and give you the time to fit in a workout. That's just one suggestion of how asking for a little bit of help from your support system is needed. You can also get a group together. Either find a group that already exists through the internet and join them because you all like to dance, or you all like to run, or just get with your neighbor that you talk to sometimes and be like, hey, I'm wanting to start fitting in some walking in the morning, would you like to join me? Having someone to do it with not only helps to motivate you because you want to hang out with these people, but it also keeps you accountable, because if you say that you don't feel like it today, well, it's not just you that is affected by it, it's everyone else in your group, because you're not there. So finding a group is a great way to stick with it as well. And if you have children and you don't want to leave them at home, then take them with you. Go to the park, walk with them, go out in the backyard, throw some baseballs around, shoot some hoops, run around the house, whatever it may be. Include the children so that you're not thinking that you're leaving them alone with your husband who's been at work all day and isn't wanting to look after the kids by himself. And like I said, going back to thinking that exercise is something that has to be like done in the gym and is boring. It can be anything that you like to do. Dancing, playing basketball, walking, just playing with your kids. If you like gardening, that's an option. Doing lawn work. It can be a whole number of things. It's not something that has to fit into this little box. So find something that you like to do. And when we're talking about incorporating it into our routine, start with something small. Like I said, the recommended amount of exercise is 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. You don't have to start at that. That's overwhelming. You can start with 15 minutes a day. You can start with 10 minutes a day. It is best to spread your activity throughout the week, though, instead of just being active one day and then the rest of the days sitting and watching TV. You want to spread it throughout the week, but you don't have to start at 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. You can start at 10 minutes a day, 2 days a week if you want to. Any type of activity is beneficial. Any amount of activity is beneficial. And on your handout at the bottom, there's some tips to stay with this, and it involves goal setting, monitoring yourself, and rewarding yourself for meeting your goals. So you want your goals to be reachable. You want them to be realistic. And like I said, with your starting your activity small, start your goals small. if you're starting at 10 minutes of activity 2 days a week, start your goal at keeping with that or more for 3 weeks in a row. You can make a goal of getting up to 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week. But that's the importance of goals, is making sure they're realistic and reachable. And then on monitoring yourself, that other page that I gave you that looks like the calendar, you don't have to use this when you get home, but I thought it was something that would help me. And if you don't think this exact thing will help you, then you can take it and use what you want of it, make something else. It's up to you. But it's just a way to jot down what days you were active, how long you were active, what you did that day, and just some thoughts on what you thought worked, what you thought didn't work. If you tried getting up at 4 a.m. before work to exercise and just thought there is no way that I can fit this in because I'm not able to go to bed until 10 o'clock at night, and there's no way that I can consistently get up at 4 a.m. to exercise, then don't do it. It works for some people, it doesn't work for some people. Make a note of that and change it. Try working out at night the next day or after work. Just keep an idea, keep thinking about what works, what doesn't work, ways you can change it so that you find something that works for you. And then, like I said, the last bit is rewarding yourself. When you meet that goal, make a big deal out of it. You can decide that you're going to buy yourself something, or that you're going to do something that you've wanted to do. It can be big, it can be small, it's up to you, but make it a special thing to reward yourself and celebrate that you're making progress. If you just sweep it under the rug, it won't mean as much, and it'll be harder for you to stick with it. So you can take those sheets home, post them on your fridge, in your office, in the bathroom, wherever works for you, and look back at them to keep these ideas in mind so you can start incorporating activity into your daily life. Unfortunately, our city at the moment, 30% of the people aren't active at all. They report no activity whatsoever for months at a time. So, like I said, even just a little bit, parking a little farther away from the entrance to Walmart, taking the stairs to get to your office instead of the elevator, every little bit helps. So try to make some changes, make yourself healthier, make your kids healthier, and it'll all be good. If you could, look back at your self-efficacy scale and see if anything has changed your way of thinking after hearing these tips and this information.
I think so, yeah, I think that I probably could raise the confidence level a little bit more on probably each of them.
Yeah, mine would improve. Mine would improve because, like before I have been exercising some already, so with me, I was pretty confident about most stuff, except like if I'm bored with it, I'm not gonna do it if I'm bored, and I'm for sure started out that way. Now, even with that for this 3 times a week, 20 minutes, even if I'm kind of bored with it, I could probably, knowing it was beneficial and stuff, go ahead and do it, for that much. Even if I'm kind of bored with it, it's not exactly what I want to do. Like, I'd rather be doing something else if the weather was pretty, but since it's raining, I'm having to do something here in the house that maybe isn't what I'd rather do, but I can do it. So it's even raised that. Feeling pain when exercising, I'm not going to do it if I feel pain. So that's not going to change. But the rest of it, it's helped me that even if it's not something you just love doing, you can do it if you know the benefits of the what all it can do for you. So.
And you mentioned having pain while you exercise. I think choosing your activity goes into that. If you're hurting someday and don't feel like running like you normally would, then you can choose something that's lighter for that day, that's either not going to work the same muscles that are hurting, or just in general isn't quite to that level. Like if you want to do some yoga or stretching or yard work, like piddling in the garden, instead of running a mile that day.
Or slow down.
Or
maybe.
slow down. Exactly. So that's my presentation for you all today. I'll turn off my camera now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.